Welcome to day 299 of our DeSo journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my twin brother, Brian, and we have a special guest, Cyrus Abraham. I guess he's not really that special because it's his fourth
No,
time
just a
being on the
normal guest by
show.
now.
You're still special, Cyrus. Welcome back to the DeSo world.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so we have a little bit of news to get to. Again, these videos are being sponsored by NFT Tech. They are an investor in CloutFeed. Actually, a lot of news today. And once we get through the news, we'll talk to Cyrus about what he's been doing. And it's pretty interesting.
Pretty exciting.
Yesterday, Time made a preview of how coin splits are going to work for NFTs. And essentially, you're going to be able to assign multiple individuals to receive DeSo royalties on an NFT and also assign multiple coins of individuals to receive royalties. So let's say I create an NFT with Cyrus and I want to give him 50% of the royalties and also give his coin 50% of the royalties. I can do that. What do you guys think?
I think this is awesome. And like, I know I've personally been talking about this for a while, the importance of such a feature, because when we jumped into NFTs back in like February of last year, before DeSo was even a thing, like the top, I guess, feature that NFT artists had asked for was the ability to trustlessly split revenue from a sale and have this revenue follow you throughout additional sales in the secondary market. And there's no real way to do it. So DeSo actually has allowed this. Plus, they've taken things a step further, of course, with the creator coin. So you can actually lock it into those creator coins as well. So I think this is going to be big. I think it's going to be able to help us onboard people from outside the DeSo space, NFT artists out from outside the DeSo space. I know Cyrus is doing this. I think it's going to be a great tool for us to kind of attract people.
Yeah, Cyrus, what's your thoughts?
From the collaborative space, a lot of creatives have been wanting to work with each other and they've had to trust each other blindly. And that's caused a lot of mistrust and scamming in the space. And this really allows, you have your visual artists and then you have your musicians and your other creatives that can now collaborate. And that's just one use case example. And it's really exciting to see that come to the chain because this doesn't exist on any chain. So it's nice for us to create something that the market needs.
I'm looking forward to like this, some kind of massive collaboration between like 30 people. I think that could be big, like 30 of the top artists on DeSo or something.
Did they say if there's a limit on how many people can collaborate on these splits?
So I don't see anything that says there's a limit. I don't know if there's a limit. According to Time's screenshot, I think he had like two DeSo royalties and 2 coin royalties, and it had the button under that said add more. So it might just be an infinite amount of individuals that can partake. I'm not 100% on that though. But I think it's a great idea. And, you say people can't really trust each other when they're minting NFTs. And it's not really all about trust. It's also about having to deal with every single time there's a secondary sale, calculating the percentage that your partners or your partner should get. So I think this takes care of that headache that could be created, especially down the road as secondary market sales pick up.
And I would even imagine there's tax implications. Since it's automatic, it's not going to a central account. So that central account doesn't have to say, hey, this is an expense to these secondary accounts. It just automatically goes to them. So I think it should make filing taxes for artists a lot easier as well if they're doing something like that.
Yeah, for sure. So also yesterday, DeSocial World and CloutFeed, a huge integration. There's 2 features that are now powered by DeSocial World on the CloutFeed app. And number 1, there's a language feed. So in the language feed, you can filter posts by language and find your local community that way. And number 2, there's a welcome feed that's going to welcome new users. And of course, these are both features that were in DeSocial World that are now being brought over to CloutFeed. So I just wanted to congratulate Ado and Erwin Williams, the creators of DeSocial World, and Rabal, of course, of CloutFeed.
Yeah, I think this is big because not only is it going to kind of introduce new users in a more streamlined fashion, but it's going to probably keep them around. It's going to help retain them because they're going to understand the platform and understand the protocol and all that a lot better.
Do you guys know what content they're going to have in this welcome feed?
I honestly don't. I have to check it out, but it sounds interesting. I assume it's going to welcome you in like your native language too. So It's a great way to onboard new users, no matter what language they speak.
And I think most importantly, just like these nodes working together, these projects work. I guess CloudFeed isn't actually a node, but these projects working together, and so rapidly. I mean, we're 10 months into this thing, and we already have so many collaborations between different nodes and different projects. I think it's great.
Yep. So also yesterday, I found it interesting. So Nader was on a Zoom call. It was essentially an interview. It was called the thematic call, Why Web3 Matters. And
With
he mentioned
Pantera.
something that was really interesting.
It was with Pantera Capital. So it was a venture capitalist firm, a hedge fund. And it was really a good talk. It wasn't long. I think it was like half an hour or so, but go on it.
Yeah, so he mentioned that there's currently a Reddit clone being created on the DeSo blockchain. And on this Reddit clone, there's going to be subreddits. For those familiar with Reddit, they're basically subcategories for discussion. But each subreddit is going to act as its own DAO, which I found fascinating.
Yeah, so when Nader teased the DAOs, I guess it was a week or two ago, he also mentioned, hey, an example would be a Reddit clone where the subreddits are basically DAOs. But we just thought it was an example that he came up with. But it appears that according to what he said to Pantera in that interview yesterday, there's somebody working on something like that.
It's interesting. It brings up a lot of use cases. Like say you're a charity, you could have a charity subreddit and people could invest in it, or buy DAO coins in that charity and essentially decide where the money goes in that charity. Or if you're in an NFT project, you could have a subreddit for your NFT and people can buy DAO coins into your project. So maybe the NFTs could be the DAO coins. Maybe if you buy an NFT, you get the DAO.
Well, you remember like 2 or 3 days ago, they started talking about threading on GitHub. So it's gonna allow for threaded posts. I would imagine that this plays right into that Reddit clone's hands, and it's gonna allow them to progress further and quicker.
What do you think, Cyrus? Reddit on DeSo? Does it work?
I think it's good. I've been watching it. I'm excited for the thread update. I think it's only going to be playing into their hands, like Brian was saying. And I think having those threads is going to help conversation flow easier on their chain. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, most definitely. And yesterday, Nader was banned from LinkedIn.
So he knows how it feels now.
Yeah, he's in our boat now.
You've been banned. I've been banned. He's been banned.
So he made a post and he said, so it looks like LinkedIn just banned my account. Overnight, I lost the following I've spent literally decades building. In doing this, however, they've unknowingly made a stronger case for the need for DeSo than I ever could. The irony is rich. Not your keys, not your content. And he showed a screenshot. He showed a screenshot showing like why he was banned. And the notice just said, we have placed the restriction on your account because we detected behavior that appears to violate our terms of service.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you spend all this time building up an account. Like it could take years. Like for example, we had our Twitter accounts for like years, almost a decade. And we spent all this time building them up. And then like that, all that 10 years of history on social media is just gone out the window. You can't even see the post. So like it just shows like DeSo having everything on the blockchain. So no matter what a node does, if they want to ban you, your posts are still there. You can still feed into that, and your reputation's still there. Whereas, I mean, traditional social media doesn't allow for that, and you're at the whim of a corporation. So I think this just goes to prove how much DeSo is needed.
Well, and it's not just the post, not the history of your post that gets wiped out, but all of your contacts. Like, he probably had thousands of people who he is connected to on LinkedIn. He can't contact them anymore. Just like us on Twitter, we had over 1.6 million followers. Flip of a switch, those followers are disconnected from us. We completely lose them and we can't communicate with them. So there's definitely Web3 definitely has a purpose.
So I think on the surface level, definitely the need for what we're doing at DeSo is there. I think it was a nice reminder for everybody, that has been banned off of platforms, why we're really here and enjoying it and building on it. Now, the good news is on the surface level, it looks like he's out of luck, But the reality is, after a couple hours process, he should be able to get his account unbanned, which is really good. They just have automatic scrapings for any crypto content, and they flag them recently more as bot content. So he can easily get his account back, which is the good news, that he can leverage that following. So at least it's not like Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, where once you're banned, you're done for. Yeah. LinkedIn is a little bit more lenient.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, because I'm sure he has a lot of important LinkedIn contacts that might not have moved to DeSo yet.
Yeah. So yesterday was a big Octane Fund announcement. 16 equity investment teams receiving 10 million total, and 23 grants receiving a total of 1 million. Brian, do you want to go over some of the developers and teams that received the grants? And
yeah, so they made a big long blog post on DeSo.org that they've given 16 teams share 10 million in equity financing in funding approximately. These teams are DeSo Messenger, NFTs, which is our node. Thank you, Octane Fund. Open Prosper, Salil Sethi, of course. Cloutcast, Supernovas, Polygram, Cloutfeed, Wallow, GD Virtual Galleries, Vibe Hut, Purple Creator, Entra, Everything Store, Real Simple Labs, which is really cool, that I think we're going to be hearing more about pretty soon. Diamond, of course, and Kaleido, which is kind of going under the radar for now.
Yeah, and then congrats.
Yeah, and then there's $1 million share between 23 teams via grants, which are non-equity, equity-free grants. So they can just take this money. They don't owe any equity to anybody. And those teams are BitPerks, Clout Fans, OneClout, DeSo Ninja, Clout Rooms, CloutGate, Verified Creators, DeSo Docs, Clout Pub, Dice World, The Faucet, Astro Nation, which is kind of a pretty cool game that's being worked on. I'm looking forward to that. One, Share Clout, Clout Megazord, Altum Base, Don Hardman, Bitcast, Musai, Createers, Story, Chime In, and Sub.space. So that's awesome. I think that this is I think the grants are just kind of like a stopgap. So here you have maybe 6 months to prove to us what you can accomplish with this money, and come back to us for equity funding once you can prove that you're really building towards something. And I don't think that there's a difference between the equity funded companies and the equity free grant funded companies, besides just maybe the equity funded companies are a little bit further along in establishing a business. But they're all awesome projects, and this is just a start. And something else that was in the blog post is that they're saying that these 39 teams, they're being provided the funding, but also what Octane Fund is doing is they're kind of trying to be like a Y Combinator, which is going to provide mentorship, founder group calls, Web3 workshops, and really what stood out to me is introductions to some of the top investors and VC firms in the world. So I think these introductions could actually help push these projects even further and get additional equity funding outside of the Octane Fund. So I think that's big. They also, Octane Fund announced their mentor program, and they're hiring mentors to help, I guess, mentor some of these Octane Fund projects and help move things forward and just help. I know that what the Octane Fund is trying to do is they're trying to act as like secondary employees for each of these projects. So if one team, say like NFTs needed help with design, then they could turn us to one of the Octane Fund employees who is well-versed in design, and they can help out. So that's big. I think it's just breeding this incredible ecosystem of development. And I think finally, they also said, which we heard before, is the Octane Fund soon going to become a DAO. Anybody's going to be able to invest in the Octane Fund and then help direct where that funding goes via a system of governance, however set out in the DAO. So that's big as well.
So have you taken a look at some of these companies that were funded, Cyrus?
Yeah, so I was taking a look at the list last night when I saw that post, and then I saw they were doing the Y Accelerator. I saw they were looking for mentors, and for me, I enjoy advising and helping a lot of projects grow. So that immediately caught my eye.
There you go.
So I've started doing some just high level overview of these projects, and You know, maybe I'll throw my hat in the ring with Dylan, Nader, and the team and help out. So for me, I think what they're doing is great. As you're saying, they're really not even just empowering you with the capital, but they're building a whole structure around you. If you don't have it, they're helping you build it. And they're also passing you years and years and years of wisdom and knowledge, you know, which is incredible. So it's just really amazing seeing the whole package come together for all these amazing projects.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Also yesterday, or I guess it was early this morning, GDS and GD Virtual Galleries announced that they're teaming with Bad Bunny at Bunnycoin to release a 100 of 100 NFT project on DeSo. Bad Bunny's huge. I think he has over 32 million YouTube followers. He's a Puerto Rican musician, rapper, actor. He does it all. And GDS is bringing him on the DeSo. I think there's some really cool things coming up. He's going to be opening his coin soon. So I think that's great. And I think it's great for DeSo in general.
Yeah, and after the next segment of news, I think we're going to segue to Cyrus, and he's doing a lot to bring NFT artists on board too. So I think if you can get some of these big names on board, big name artists on board, I think a lot of their collectors are going to follow. And I think that's what we need to do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I just want to touch on the Clubhouse events and the community events, and then we'll get to Cyrus. Today at 11 a.m., it's Crypto Ladies on the Mic on Clubhouse. That's 11 a.m. Eastern Time by DeSo Chat's Miss Katie Ann and Michelle Lord. There's an NFL giveaway by DeSo Ghost there, so definitely check that out. At 1 p.m. Eastern Time, NFTs by Candles by Jewel. So Jules, the user of Jules on DeSo, you're probably familiar with her from Nacho Average and some other community events. She creates candles, and she's doing this candle NFT series, which we're really excited about. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Clubhouse. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time, there's a Clubhouse room called Decentralized Social Security, Legals, and DAO Tokens with Miss Katie Ann, Michelle Lord, Franz Arthur from Supernovas, Jay Vague, Wildography, DeSo Trolls, and we'll also be there. Again, that's 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And 4 p.m. Eastern Time, DeSo NFTs Ice Creams drop. So this is a new NFT project on DeSo Ice Creams, and they're dropping their NFTs at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with Think Different, French Connector, Wilfred Chung, Ullman, and Wildography. And then, of course, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Chime In is the big community hangout. So definitely check that out at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time tonight.
And yeah, action-packed day. Action-packed day. I just want to give one final shout out to Jules, who you mentioned, her candle NFTs. We actually have an actual candle from Jules from when we met her in New York, and I bet Cyrus does too.
I have like 2-3 of them. I was just about to say, like, I got to shout out to Jules. It's not even just an NFT. I mean, physically, they look amazing. They're sculpted, hand sculpted. They smell really good. I didn't even light my candle for 3 months because I didn't want to hurt it aesthetically.
I know that's my problem. Like, it was so
I lit it and I was like, girl, I need another one.
I actually have this blue dragon, and my son loves it, so he has it on his shelf. And I don't think we'll ever light it.
Yes, that's amazing.
But yeah, I can't wait to see your NFTs. But so Cyrus, you've been gone from DeSo for, I don't know how, like, DeSo time's so confusing to me. I don't know if you're gone for a week or a month.
It's been like 3-4 weeks, if we're being honest. So it feels like a lifetime, but it's really not that bad. But it's going good, guys. So, like, just to get everyone DeSo caught up, which is really why I wanted to come on the show, is, you know, since April, I've been here and I've spent a lot of time doing a lot of different roles. You know, I've created my own projects, you know, the biggest one being NFT Plus. And then we helped 40-50 projects with getting started, their marketing, community building, you know, really just getting whatever empowerment they need. And then I realized after many months of doing this that we're still having the same issues, right? Like, projects getting pumped and dumped with the bonding curve. There's still high churn going on the platform, limited spending, all these things going on, liquidity. And then I realized in late mid-December, around that time, you know, I've been working with Raj Lahoti for many months on the platform, and he took a step back. And at that time, I had to really reevaluate, as the new year's beginning 2022, where do I want to go? What is my vision? What am I working on? And I came to a realization that I've done almost everything I can do to grow DeSo from the inside. You know, there's nothing more I can do. And so for me, I realized the greatest value add I can do to the chain is really just bringing outside people in. So since then, I've become the general manager and the guy that runs the show for Mecha Ape Club on OpenSea, which is basically a top 300 project. They've had 5 mil volume in the last month, and they're killing it in the play to earn space. Think DeSo project Lucky Apes, but way farther along and vetted. So we've been doing well, but what's exciting for me is after a call last night with Dylan and a call with Megan 2 weeks ago, essentially what I'm looking to do is onboarding a lot of these Ethereum users from multiple different Ethereum projects, not even just Mecha Apes, but there's several others, and really getting them to come and embrace Web3 and DeSo. Because the way I look at it is, you know, right now, everyone on ETH, you know, we're spending $100 to $200 just to do a transaction fee, half $100, you know, $50 just to delist one of our NFTs. And this friction is really, you know, hurting a lot of people who want to get involved, but there's none of that issue on DeSo. And so the way I looked at it is if these guys are spending on average 7 to 8 DeSo per NFT, what would that mean if 50 to 100 or 200 or 500 of these guys came over and started splashing around in DeSo? You like 7A DeSo is the 99th percentile of what you see on the primary sales. You never see it. It's on the high end. So, but that's the average lowest baseline minimum that these guys even play with. So for me, I realized like, how great would it be if we had these guys come over, get involved, shop, support art with zero gas. They can become part of projects' growth through royalties, right? Which they can never have done on the eSpace before. And now, as we talked about with the coin splits, you're able to have, again, all sorts of creatives from all chains work together and get credited built in without having to deal with any of that friction too. So essentially, Dylan recommended that I work with Ed Moss, who does a lot of the funnel-based things for DeSo Foundation to build funnels to get a lot of these Ethereum guys to come over. So that's basically the next step, is to really build these targeted funnels for onboarding. And I think that's where my new role is going to be in the new years, is really just onboarding people in. And I'm really excited about that. I mean, just to give a shout out to the Mecha Ape project and give context for 2 seconds, it's essentially 5,640 Mecha Apes. They're 3D apes. We were the first play to earn 3D ape project on OpenSea. And we have our own token launching soon. You can lock away and stake your apes via the staking process. You can then play in the game like a third-person shooter like Fortnite, enjoy your skins, buy and sell your skins in the marketplace,
That's
upgrade
cool.
your assets, and then cash that out anytime for USD or any stable coin, etc. So bringing that level of quality into DeSo is like really exciting for me, because it's just a whole different level of operation in terms of managing an NFT project, what it really takes to, because, you know, the project Mecha Ape Club has more holders than DeSo's DAU, to give perspective, you know? So like there's some serious action going on. And these guys, I've been mentioning DeSo in the chats and they're going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people that you can bring over, and people that are familiar with NFTs. And you can bring collectors. I think that's something we need. We need NFT collectors more than artists right now, just because there's so many NFTs out there, but not enough people to buy them yet.
Yeah, and the thing for me is like, you know, let's dive in a little bit deeper. So a lot of these Ethereum guys, they're looking for the buy now feature. They're looking to see the floor price, you know, on these projects without having to go to NFTZ or going to another platform, right? We want to see it on chain. And then also one of the biggest things that I think these projects need is an activity feed. You know, like I want to real time know what sales are going on at what price to what user. I don't want to have to, for example, go buy $80 of chain surf to go get an access unlocked in a chain surf Discord just to find the data I want on the primary site. That's a lot of work for one dude to just get into a project, you know? So I'm really excited for those. I know the buy now is coming. I talked with Zordan. We have a call upcoming next week about, you know, having the floor price included, charts, activity feed, and all of that. So we're really brainstorming on how to make DeSo super appealing to a lot of large projects. And if we were to just bridge over real quick, a couple of things we got to talk about is, you know, a lot of people in the NFT space on DeSo, like they like the royalties, but they don't like the fact that on creator coins, you get capped out around 1,200 in terms of upside, and 2,000 is even worse. And then you have all the same 50, 60 people rugging each other to secure profits. Yeah. That was my issue, is me and 50 other friends would just be selling against each other. And we'd just be in a group chat being, oh, you know, Clay Oglesby rugged us, or Cyrus rugged us, or, you know, like whoever it was, right? And the nice thing with the DAO coins coming out is that you can set your own tokenomics. You're not going to have the bonding curve limiting you in your growth. And it's really going to be liberating. I think the first time a lot of these projects are going to be able to grow past these thresholds without the collectors going at each other. So we might see real organic growth, not manipulated for a bonding curve, for the first time in like 6-7 months, which is like super exciting on DeSo, at least for me. And then the other really exciting thing is that a lot of these projects, they don't have the, like, you know, in Ethereum, all these play to earn games, they want to launch their own token. They want to get that token involved in different utilities for the holders. We can finally do that here on DeSo in the next coming weeks. So it's really exciting to see, like, you know, does Unicat launch a token? Does, you know, Rowdy Reptilians, they launch a DAO token? You know, what does this all really mean for the projects?
The Rowdy DAO. I know there's a Rowdy DAO being worked on. So
there is. I didn't know. There you go.
I totally agree. I think that the DAO coins will really open things up for NFT projects. And I think that alone could really attract some people from Ethereum and Solana over here, because it's not easy to do on these other chains. So like, I think you're right, totally right about the creator coin, especially when it comes to like NFT projects. Like it's supposed to, as they sell the coin, supposed to have more money locked, more DeSo locked into it. But I think the market's so early right now, and there's not really those secondary sales happening, that a DAO might make more sense for some of these projects.
And again, just a note for everyone that's not educated in the space, 99% of sales on all exchanges and NFTs are buy now. So for 6 months, you guys have been operating on a bid-based basis with no minimum bid increments, with none of the even features on that side. So we have really been, honestly, like, everyone thinks they've been doing NFTs, but this has been like barely scratching the surface, like some super minimal surface level stuff. So for the first time ever, you guys are actually going to be able to experience what the ecosystem is really capable of being once these features come in, I believe January 24th. So
yeah, we're less than a week away.
I'm really excited, guys. You know, like,
so I like that hat. I got one too.
Yes. Oh, so even though I've been gone for a month, I have repped this hat almost every day.
I think you look a little bit better, Cyrus, than Eddie.
No,
Eddie's
come
head
on,
looks kind of conish.
No, come on, man. He looks good. He looks like a
poker player. I think the glasses don't really match very well.
No, I think it actually perfectly. You were all blacked out right now.
That's true.
So what do you guys? Let me ask you guys. What do you guys think? Are we going to see a lot of collaboration between, you know, people like Mercury, who will create music, and Rowdies? You know, do you think a lot of new artists are going to come in? Like, what do you just hone in? Like, what are you guys most excited about over the next week?
I think Mercury. He's been such a proponent of the coin split, so I think he's going to be jumping all over that.
Nice.
Yeah, and I agree that buy it now. I think buy now is huge, and you, like you said, 99% of the sales on these other chains are happening with buy now. Like it just makes things so much easier and convenient. And like, you don't want to bid on an NFT knowing that your DeSo is locked there until they either accept it or it's rejected. So this is just so instant, and that's what we need. And I think it's gonna spur on the secondary sales quite substantially.
I think also I have to look into the V2 notes. Have you guys confirmed if they're going to have notifications on chain when you've been outbid and things like that? Do you guys know?
I believe so. I believe there is, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know if outbids work. I know bid notifications, but like, that's something interesting.
If you the way you make money in NFTs, just some wisdom, and Tropics will preach this, is that you have to just be aping in during the bear market. Like right now when DeSo is low, You should be aping in on the blue chips. I'm not, you can just look at my profile or ask the boys here, but ape in the blue chips. And then when the buy now comes, the floor is going to go up 20, 30, 40, or 50% almost instantly. Like, it's not even a joke. And then once the creator coin splits, they start collaborating left and right every week, new collaboration. It just keeps going higher and higher as creatives elevate each other mutually.
Yeah.
And then we're not even touching when Coinbase NFT marketplace happens and we have that integration to millions of active users. I mean, it's going to go even further then. So, it's time for me, I think, to pick up some more NFTs. I'm excited.
Yeah, we actually asked Ed Moss, I think it was, in a Twitter space about that, the integration with Coinbase. And he said that's the ultimate goal. So I think this is why we love having you on here, Cyrus, is you get us so excited. Like, not that we're not already excited, but now we're even more excited.
Man, I'm so excited. And thank you so much for having me here, guys.
Yeah, thanks again for coming on. I think this was the longest video we've done ever. So
it felt like the shortest one, as always.
So thanks again, Cyrus. I'm sure we'll have you on again for a 5th time sometime soon.
I appreciate you guys. Good to be back. Good to see you guys.